Then we are lucky to have Michelle with us today, Michelle Griffin. And we are excited to do another round of 30 Days of Stoke, where we do a logo design in 30 minutes. So it's fast, it's fun, and it's a whirlwind. So, what we'll do right now for the first kind of 10 minutes of the segment is we will get to know Michelle and let her kind of tell us what she's all about so that we can get an idea of what the logo needs to look like and you can get an idea of what she's all about. So we'll go ahead and kind of flip it over to her and let her kind of introduce her brand and tell us what she's got going on.
Well, thank you so much for being here or letting me be here. I think this is a fantastic opportunity to showcase the good work you both do. And it's just fun. I mean, the pressure, it just shows your talent level and all that in 30 minutes. So I'm excited to participate. I'm Michelle Griffin. I'm a personal brand strategist, and I'm here today to seek help in getting my personal brand logo done. And I admit, I think I just threw it together on like Canva or something. It's never professionally done. I also have another logo for my consultancy, which is Brand Authority. But my website, which has a lot of domain authority since like 7 years now, is Michelle B. Griffin. So I have decided that I'm just going to lead with my website, which is the middle being redone. And, as I work with personal brands, and a lot of them ask me, so should I lead with my brand name, my company name, or whatnot? And that depends on so many factors. But for me, since I'm pivoting to my offerings and some of the things I'm going to be doing, I want to really lead with me and my business. And I still have brand authority and all that, but I really want to lead as a personal business to be the model of what I help my clients do. So I'm hoping you'll give me some inspiration and some great ideas in the 30 minutes context of what my brand logo. And as you know me, I wear yellow. So my brand colors are yellow because a little bit of a backstory. I picked the yellow. This isn't the exact yellow I'm wearing, but I picked yellow because it is the same color as the universal smiley face. Because my brand is, I'm also living in Florida where it's sunny, bright. So I want my brand values and, perception to be bright, encouraging, empowering, and clarity. Because I give my clients clarity in who they are with their branding. And then I'm also venturing out into offering new services with visibility and pulling in my PR background, because I realize, I'll tell you guys a backstory. So I was sick with COVID for 10 days, where I was like zero participation on LinkedIn, where I'm usually active every single day. And I saw my stuff just wither on the vine. Like, it was like I just didn't have the energy to get up there, right? So it made me realize that, oh my goodness, I love LinkedIn and the community, the social media, but putting all your eggs in one basket is not the best philosophy. So we need to branch out and I wrote a post about this last week, diversified streams of visibility, right? So so I'm really branching out into some more of that for me and then my clients this next part of next year. Can you believe the next July 1st is upon us? We're almost the second half of the year. Like, where did that go? But anyway, so I really want to lead with an awesome Michelle Griffin logo. So does that give you some backstory?
Yeah, I think that's helpful. It's always good to kind of get an idea of like what the business is about. So as far as like style goes, we know that we've got the yellow, bright, sunshiny. As far as like the look and feel of the Michelle Griffin brand, right? Is it like quirky and cute, or is it like angled and sharp, or is it goofy?
I like friendly and modern and edgy. Yeah. Like I'm drawn, like my house, I'm drawn to like really gorgeous mid-century architecture. I love all that stuff. So I love like modern, not like weird modern, but just like classical modern, traditional modern. But anyway, I like more modern and fun and timeless though. Nothing trendy. I do work with women entrepreneurs and founders now, but I'm more of the aesthetic of not like that Instagram aesthetic. That's not really me, of like the pinks and the gray, the tans. I'm more of the, my colors, yellow and bold and modern. I do have some green, like you'll see the green behind me. Mm-hmm. This is the model, this Michelle, see this M, this is a green. This is one of those Reader's Digest condensed books. kid you not, found this at a thrift store because I love thrifting for like mid-century modern stuff. And
Wow.
yeah, so of all the letters of the alphabet,
That's
M.
That's cool.
Yeah, so I love, and this is the actual green of my office door. I had it painted, so
Perfect.
yeah, because I love trees and nature too. That says a lot about me. The other signature color, and I actually have them in my brand guide, is like a blue, the blue of our Gulf here, and just the blue of the
Mhm.
sky. So I do use a lot. I would like to pull in more some fun colors, so anyway, so like an 80s kind of cool modern vibe, but timeless classic. I don't know. Does that make sense? All this give you some history of who I am and what I like. And my
Yeah.
M is seeing its age. It's not standing up. So I'll just
Yeah.
Anyway, so you'll see my yellow and green behind me, right? All my stuff in the
Yeah.
background.
Yeah. Definitely. Like when I think of you, like yellow comes to mind, right? It's like
Good. It's
your
working.
embodiment, and like it's bright, and it like yellow matches your countenance, and how we've had a couple, maybe just one, video chat where we kind of got to. I think you were. I shut down my live stream like a long time ago, and you were one of like the 5 guests that I had.
Yeah,
on
that was
before I
so much
shut it down.
fun. Yeah. But I'm glad you came. This is a great idea to do live stream.
Yeah. So I mean, the intention is to reboot that other segment as well, but
you've
yeah,
been busy.
this is
You're
more
growing
fun,
your
yeah.
brand and your company, and you got client work. I get it. That's a good
Got a
thing.
lot going on. So
Yeah.
so we'll go ahead and jump over, kind of reshift everything, switch up the cameras.
Okay.
We will obviously keep you on the line as like our creative director as we're sketching
Okay.
stuff. So
This is going to be fun. I always like in the back of my mind want to be a graphic designer, but I'm not. But I do feel like I have a good visual eye, but I'm not. I don't know how to do Illustrator or Photoshop. So I'm in awe of what you guys do. So is it Illustrator you're working on?
Yes.
yeah.
Okay. Awesome.
Yep. And it's funny because like we do the whiteboard sketches for the sake of this segment, right? But like most often than not, I would say like whiteboarding is not the most effective like place to sketch logos because you don't have as much like control over the thick versus thin and stroke and stuff like that. But for this, it works well to just kind of go on blast and go fast.
Just to get the ideas out real quick.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I think everyone's in awe of you being able to do this in 30 minutes. It just blows my mind. So it's exciting.
It's a little nerve wracking. So, okay. So we will switch things up. Click on lights. Hopefully the other camera, let's see. I didn't check this one. Okay, that looks bright enough. Spin this one around. I might give it a little purple hue. We can, if I can get the right button. There we go. Last time we did this, I forgot to switch the view so that the sketching stayed small the whole time.
Oh, no.
Like that. So
this is cool.
Full view of sketching should keep you up. Yep. So we will be able to hear you the whole time as our creative director.
Okay. Let's do it.
And Haley is always in charge of the timer.
Yep.
So these are the notes that we wrote down.
Okay.
Let's see. What's that? Not visible. There we go. So
all right. Very cool.
Brand colors: yellow, Florida, smiley faces, clarity, visibility. Michelle Griffin, modern, fun, timeless. Blue and green as accents. Generally at this phase we start black and white or whatever color markers we have.
Okay.
But and again, once we go on the computer, 10 minutes is not a lot of time.
Oh, I know. Yeah. I mean, an actual logo takes way much longer.
Yeah, I almost feel like sometimes when we jump on the computer, we ought to divide and conquer a little bit. Like you start vectoring, I'll start coloring, and maybe instead of, I mean, I know it's kind of funny to like have it be competition.
Yeah, but maybe it's not as.
We could divide and conquer, and like, one person could work on fonts and the logo or the word mark and the colors, while the other person works on the logo. So
that's true.
Have you guys done in these mostly business logos, or have you done any personal brand logos so far?
It's been a lot of podcasts.
It's been mostly podcasts. Yeah.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I think Michelle was the first one that we did that was like a business.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like we did one with Caleb that was a podcast. We did one with Mason Cosby that was a podcast.
Oh yeah, that was a good one.
Oh yeah, we did Andrew Campbell that has he's a music producer for fun.
Okay.
We did kind of a logo for that. So that was kind of fun to just kind of get into a totally different genre of logos and stuff. So
Okay. Yeah. Well, this is good. It's interesting. So many podcast logos were on the board.
yeah, everybody's doing podcasts.
Yeah.
So we'll go ahead and kick it off.
All right. Timer
Alrighty.
started. Let's see.
I've been on this kick of like overlapping stuff and like
Yeah.
it's very funny.
Let's see.
Yeah, this is Rex like talking instead of drawing, but when you talked about like having 7 years of like brand or domain authority,
Yeah.
that's something that I've been struggling with a lot. So I just recently went and did I never know if you can see me or not. I went and did a big photo and video shoot, and I had the opportunity to like sit next to a bunch of people while we were talking about my business, and like they were like, "Where can I find you?" And I would tell them like the exact name of my domain, right? StokeDesignCo.com. And they would open up Chrome or something, and they would just Google search Stoke Design Co. instead of like actually punching in the domain.
Uh-huh.
And there's a company in Australia that's also called Stoke Design Co. And they have StokeDesign.co as their like web domain.
Wow.
But they're like an SEO agency. They're always going to crush me on domain authority. So like all these people that I'm talking to are like landing on that one. They're like, "Oh, your company's in Australia?" And I'm like, "No, it's not that one. It's this other one." So I realized that people, even when they were like talking to me, were having a hard time like finding my business.
Interesting.
So that kind of
Yeah.
to me that I needed to like switch up the name of my company. So we haven't done like an official like announcement yet, but we're
Oh, you are going to change the name.
yeah. So I already switched it up on LinkedIn. It's called Stoke Ship. We're kind of leaning into like the rocket ship.
Yeah, Stoke ship. Okay, so you still have Stoke in there, but
Yeah.
okay.
So
Okay.
we kept Stoke. I like Stoke. I like what that embodies. It's totally me, and like it makes sense for the work that I do.
It's what I call an anchor. Like ever since, you and I chatted and got to know each other almost a year ago, I was like, that name. I think I even told you that. I love the name,
Yeah.
It reminds me like I'm stoked. Like I'm like surfer talk. Like I'm stoked for my brand. I love it. I don't know how you think of it, but that's how I remember it. So so absolutely.
I definitely didn't want to get like too far away from that, right? So I searched high and low for like another word that was short that made sense, matched what I was doing, and Stoke Ship was one of those domains that's like available. It's wide open as far as like hitting, Facebook or not Facebook, but Instagram handles and TikTok handles and all that jazz. So
awesome, and it's got the alliteration, the S and the S. So
yeah, so kind of going to lean in on that a little bit and like reclaim some domain authority. So when I tell people like what my business name is, they can actually find
it. No, that's really good. Now, do you have? I always advocate for everyone to get buy their personal domain name too. Do you have it? Although your name's it's probably already taken with the .com, right?
So I would say 4 years ago, well, not that long ago, probably 2 or 3 years ago, rexallen.com was available for like $750. And like,
did you get it?
Time, I was like still, an entrepreneur. I still had a full-time job. I was working on some of this stuff on the side, and I was like, $750 is like a lot for like just some side hobby thing. So I kind of opted to not get it. And then once I launched off and like quit my job and like went full in on this stuff, I was like, oh geez, like I should check that again, right? And I checked, and it had been purchased, and it was like for sale again for like $5,000. And now I'm in that like spot where it's like, $5,000 is probably too much for where I'm at right now.
Yeah. No, you don't have to do that. I mean, I doubt they're probably going to sell it for that much. There's probably not that many, market for that, right? Yeah. So you could always offer them.
As far as domain authority goes, like it's really hard because like Rex Allen is a famous like country western singer and like actor, kind of like John Wayne.
Yeah.
So like when people Google Rex Allen, like I'm so buried, like I'll never be at the top of that just because he's like pretty famous, So
what about if you do Rex Allen design or branding or something?
Yeah, so I own rexallendesign.com. I own rexallencreative.com. I own rex-allen.com. So yeah, I've definitely got like a handful of them. But
those are good too. I mean, those truly are, I think, good too. But yeah, if you share a name with someone famous, it is going to be a little hard. So I was on I think Michelle Raymond and I did a podcast episode, and we were talking about this. Oh, I know why, because I put Michelle B. Griffin back on LinkedIn because there's a lot of Michelle Griffins. But one of them, when if you Google Michelle Griffin, she's a realtor in Georgia. I've already like emailed her years ago. Hey, if you ever sell your domain, want to sell it, let me know. But there's also Michelle Griffin, who is a quote murderer. So you want to make sure your domain authority and your search engine come up higher. That's why I'm always advocating, making sure you have visibility in Google too, because that's not a good luck, right? So luckily, I have now come up there. So there's another Michelle Griffin who's big in the HR space. So yeah, so we always want to check our names and see how we land on Google, because like you said, you never know.
Yeah, definitely being findable on Google is good, especially when you're like in front of your customers, like
Yes.
they're sitting there talking to you and they're like, I can't find you. It's not a good
Well,
idea.
here's another thing that's really I've noticed, especially being laid up with COVID for 10 days. I was, bored out of my mind and looking online a lot when I felt better. And there's a lot of people's websites that they don't have a security thing. And so that dreaded, this site is not secure, comes up and you cannot get to their websites. That's another little tidbit I want to make sure people have on their website. And, those SSL certificates are free. You don't have to pay for them really at all, really. So that's something to check out.
Nice.
Nothing will kill your business more when you can't get to your website, right?
Yeah, and it's unfortunate to like have to worry about all of that stuff, right? And like that I have to like change my business name because of some company in Australia.
I know.
But like,
Well, at least you can just point your domain to the new one, so that's good. And
yeah,
it's relatively within the first year, right? So you're still pretty good. You can just get out there, and this is your chance to get out there on podcasts and press and stuff and jump up there above them. I mean, I know they're SEO, so
yeah.
but you're in the US, so that should help when people know.
Oh, that was cool. Our microphone just got like way loud for a second. That was weird.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's kind of fun to me.
Yeah, I kind of
I
like
like
that.
that idea. I've been talking most of the time. That's my excuse of why I never win the
I
competition.
know. Well, it's hard because I know you want to like engage on the show, and
Yeah.
It's hard to draw what I'm thinking.
So, I mean, I know a lot. I mean, I know pretty much everything we've done here so far has just been like, initials or monogram style, I guess. But it seems like that's pretty common in the personal brand. Do you have any like symbols that?
No, I don't really have any. I was trying to think of that. I'm really kind of like a minimalist, and like I like more of the. I know that a lot of them will do like a cursive and stuff, but I'm more so just minimalist modern. Does that make sense? But not too weird, like traditional modern. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Timeless modern, if that's a thing.
Yeah, I haven't
But
done
I
like
have.
deep analysis, but it seems like your font is kind of like that Montserrat looking.
It is. Oh my gosh. Yeah. I mean, it's like that or Robota. I don't even know how to pronounce it. But hey, I know that like in the graphic world, like don't use Comic Sans. Is that like I once read this article about like all real graphic designers like hate that font, right?
Papyrus is my least favorite font.
Yeah, it's funny because like, Montserrat like gets made fun of a lot as like not being like a professional font, because it's
Oh,
like,
really? Oh, I didn't even know that. Well, I don't want to be associated with that then.
yeah, I mean it's just like it's like a close knockoff of like a couple of fonts that are like really, really popular and expensive, right?
Yeah.
So like Montserrat's like the free alternative to that.
Well, what's a good one then? Because I don't have any clue. I just know what I like, and that just is a modern, whatever. Like, what's a good font? Like, now's the time to change the font too.
Yeah,
I'm
I
not
mean,
for
we got a
anything,
whole
guys. I
episode.
mean, like,
We
I'm
got a
not
whole
for
episode on
anything.
font, but like, I mean, for like a free quit. The thing about Montserrat is it's a Google font, right? So it's like easy
Yeah,
to plug into a website.
exactly.
It's like easy to get where you want it to go, which is nice, you know. But like, I think Gotham's probably the like paid. Gotham is like the paid version of Montserrat that like,
Okay.
you know, if you want to be like really professional, like people use Gotham. Gotham is one of those ones that's like really popular.
Yeah, but is it like trendy popular or like classic popular?
It's classic popular. Yeah, I
Okay.
mean, it looks a lot like Montserrat. So if you like,
Okay. I'm not opposed to buying a font. I mean, they're not expensive, are they?
yeah, Gotham's not. I mean, the like full pack. If you want to get like all of Gotham, I think I paid like $350 for it to like have.
Yeah.
It.
Then you
But
have
yeah,
it.
you just buy like one thickness. I mean, I
Yeah.
guess technically you wouldn't even have to buy it, right? Like if we did a logo for you, that was
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
like, you know, we would have it, right? But like if you wanted to then be able to like use it on your website or something, you'd have to pay for like a web version.
Yeah. Well, that's not bad for lifetime use.
Yeah.
And that's a true Adobe font, right?
I think it's from Monotype. I don't know what boundary it's from, but it's
Okay.
on Adobe. Yeah.
Okay. So that's why people do knockoffs because they don't want to pay the full price. Gotcha.
Yeah, knockoffs, and then like the thing that's nice about Google Fonts is like pretty much all website builders like have integration with Google, so like it's easy to get that font onto your website versus like if it's an owned font or an Adobe font, like you have to use Adobe Typekit, and it's just like a little bit more clunky on like the website side of it. But yeah, it's certainly not the end of the world.
That's interesting.
All right, we're out of time.
And it says we're out of time.
Pressure.
Yep.
No. So that's the hard part. Now it's just sketching it on Illustrator.
Yeah, sketching and then trying to be entertaining at the same time.
Oh, you guys do a great job.
We decided that this was more fun than like trying to move the whiteboard, so we will kind of just like look at some of try to keep my bare feet out of the shop, but you know, these are just some of the monogram ones that I had drawn up. This one to me stands out as something cool.
Oh, I like that. Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I think once you got it onto the computer, you could probably make it look match the branding a little bit better, but I didn't make it very far because I was talking the whole time. But I still came up with a cool concept.
No, I do like that a lot.
So Haley's got, that's kind of fun.
It's really abstract and it might translate better on the computer, but I said maybe to it.
Yeah.
And I liked that. I'll probably put it in the circle so I can add some color to it.
Uh-huh.
And then there's a couple different monogram ones that I kind of liked.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's a great. I like that lowercase one too. Yeah.
That one?
That one? Yeah.
That
Yeah. That's
Nice.
kind of cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that one's fun.
Yep, I think it's better on the computer too.
Yeah.
So what do
You
you
guys
think
did
of
great.
that?
I can't imagine doing
You kind of
that.
have to give us the direction as far as where we ought to focus.
Okay. Oh, so I have to pick one?
Well, one or two.
Okay. So I like the bottom one with the
Okay.
purple star, and then that other one you like, Rex, the one that,
This one?
yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Can we go in that direction? Those two?
Yep.
Definitely.
Yeah. So let's see, set this back up here.
And also too, because you want to make sure it translates well. I see so many cool fonts, but then they're too busy for like simplicity, when you want to put them in,
Yeah, so we'll try to keep enough time to, I don't know. We'll try this out. Maybe I'll do a little bit of font exploration while Haley draws stuff, because she can take that sketch that I just did and make it look cool too. So, start with yours, and then if you get that to a point that's good and you've got time, you could jump over and kind of work on mine, and I'll start on fonts and stuff and see where we land there as well. So.
Okay.
Fire up the old Adobe Illustrator so Haley doesn't get a head start. And it's hard, like keeping a fully functioning like studio up all the time in the office, because with us doing this every day, it's like we keep the setup.
This is your graphic design studio and your live stream too, right? A little bit of everything.
And the office that we work out full time. So it can be fun. Okay, so there we go. Screen. Get this so it's got just the right amount. Okay, and then we'll add Haley. And here, there. Okay, so this is the setup where we go. And
Hey.
Michelle gives us the creative direction as we start goofing around with stuff in Illustrator. So again, 10 minutes
Ready?
on the clock. Yep.
And start.
My computer's sitting here thinking forever. Okay, so since we were talking about fonts, let's just go like this.
Although those designs wouldn't necessarily translate with with the two fonts we were talking about. Those are their own little.
Yeah, those are
Those are
I mean, for
different.
like full on, like especially mine, like to do mine like all the way right, it's probably just like sketch it out 10 times on
Mm-hmm.
paper to where I
Mm-hmm.
can get the right flow and the right feel of the pen on the paper, the pencil on paper to where it like looks right,
Mm-hmm.
erase it, tweak it and everything and get it to where it looks right and then bring that into the computer and vector that, from
So
the
those are that's what you call a hand-drawn font,
So,
basically.
I mean, it's not necessarily like a font, right? Because it's just a monogram. But
Yeah.
yeah, it'd be more hand drawn, which I think I don't know could go either way. And we could find a font that kind of matches the flow of
Mm-hmm.
those letters and
Yeah. There's
really
so
like
many.
base it off of a font as well, right? So here's an example. If we just go Montserrat bold, and then we go Gotham bold. You can see they're very similar, right? So the
They
M
are
M in
very.
Montserrat is a little bit wider,
Mm-hmm.
but pretty much everything else there is the same. And then the G on
A little different. Yeah.
Gotham's got the tail, right, where it
Oh
doesn't in
yeah.
Montserrat, but like pretty classic, pretty
Mm-hmm.
um, like, and then like the other like ubiquitous, worldwide, mostly used font in the world would be Helvetica.
Yeah.
We'll switch to Russian again. My keyboard always switches to Russian on accident. Helvetica, it's a little bit more of like a, I don't know.
What font do you use for your company logo, Rex?
For my Stoke logo,
Yeah.
it is called Space Grotesque,
Hmm.
which is a little bit more. It doesn't look as good in all caps. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
our logo. So Stoke ship is all lowercase.
I actually love like the lowercase look too, like you there. I love that. Because like here's the thing. I'm going to be friendly, but I'm not like 100% formal either. Like friendly. Like here's the word I coined. Like I think I posted about this last year. Professional. You want to be personable and professional, but personable and fun. Like I'm friendly and fun and
Mhm.
approachable. Like if you met me in real life, totally an extrovert. Hopefully I communicate. I can't communicate that well online yet. I'm peeling back the layers. Because I
Yeah.
worked in B2B professional services like insurance and legal for years. And so it keeps you in that container, right?
Yeah.
So, but the true me, so anyway, so maybe like maybe I want to communicate that too. All uppercase to me seems kind of buttoned up and formal, and that's not entirely who I am at
And
all.
it's almost more like, I don't know. I feel like when you go all caps like that, I mean, certainly it works, right? But it's like very bold and established and official, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Versus
Well, I
lowercase,
mean, a
I think
mix of
makes it feel
being,
more approachable.
approachable, authoritative person, like
Mm-hmm.
approachable. I definitely want to always be approachable. Like
Yeah.
I just think, I don't know. I've never want to ever have the connotation that I'm, anything but approachable, and friendly, because that's who I
Mhm.
am in real life. I will talk to anyone. I love to talk to people. I love people.
Yeah. Yeah. So when we talk about kind of how we do fonts a lot of time, it's funny, and there's probably different ways to do this, right? And I've been searching high and low for like a program that does this. That what I would like is to have my 30 favorite fonts in Illustrator just
Mhm.
set up on an artboard to where I can change the text and it would change them for all of those fonts, right? So like
Yeah, that'd
a
be
lot of the
cool.
font engines where you're searching for fonts do that, right? So if I
Mhm.
go
Oh yeah,
over
they do. Yeah.
here to like, yeah, so call it Monotype. So Monotype's like the webs. That's different.
Is that like the better than Adobe? That's what you guys use, right? More so than
I mean,
Adobe.
I use Adobe fonts a lot. And then this website, myfonts.com, is
Mm.
probably the other like authoritative, like you can get professional fonts
Hmm.
versus like if you go to thefont.com, you get a bunch of like knockoff kind of janky fonts, and you can get
Yeah.
some stuff that like look cool on there.
Yeah.
But myfonts.com kind of brings in professional fonts from a lot of different foundries. So you get
Hmm.
like all of the paid fonts from myfonts.com. But the
Okay.
cool
Well, that's
thing
good to
there
know.
is you can kind of category search.
Okay.
So, for you, I would say, I mean, handwritten or script, like we might find one that was cool in there, but like probably we want to go with like a sans serif.
Yeah.
But the cool thing here is I can just type in your name, and then I can also type it in caps, right? Just in case we
Okay.
want.
To see the difference, that's smart.
So like I would do that, and then I would make it a little bit bigger, right?
What do you like? If you were doing like my logo, like higher, do you like the upper cap or lower cap for me? Just, I would love your opinion.
For you, I would probably go all lowercase.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it communicates exactly like who you are, right? Approachable, fun, creative, kind, positive energy, like all of that, right? But I think with the right font, you probably could have an all caps one that
Yeah.
still kind of felt approachable, like this one. I don't know if it'll highlight, but this one right here, um, the one that's on the top right there, it's kind of got the little like round serif bit
Yeah.
going on. That makes it feel more approachable rather than it's just like straight angular
Yeah.
rigid.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't want to, yeah. Because I want to be fun and modern and approachable, like not
Yeah,
stodgy.
this one is kind of fun. Um, I don't hate that one right there, to be totally honest with you. So a lot of times what we'll do is, again, I'm going like more educational here than like actually
I
doing
love
any
it
work.
though. I geek out on all
But
this stuff.
yeah, so one of the things I'll do is like in Adobe, this would be cool. I mean, I guess I could do it with favorites, but favorites work weird in Adobe and some of them don't show up. But like I'll start at the very top of my font list, which
Hmm.
is like abolition, right? And then I just
Hmm.
down arrow through all of my fonts.
Oh my goodness. Look
And
at that.
based on like what I know about the brand that I'm working on and who I'm working with, like different fonts are going to stand out to me based on the project, right? So, one
Hmm.
project might be a super futuristic tech company or something more futuristic, right? Which is kind of what Stoke is, right? And that's what
Yeah.
led me to Space Grotesque, because it's like this classic font with like a little bit of a futuristic kind of twist to it. But
Uh-huh.
like that's probably not the one that I would choose for you, right? So as
Yeah.
I'm going through here, we just did one that was like kind of this like Egyptian look, and the font that we picked was a lot like this one on the bottom, kind of an engraved looking kind of ancient feel to it, but then still kind of cool and modern. So a lot of times I just start going through these fonts because this is a compilation of all the fonts that I've purchased.
You
So
must
some
have
of these like
hundreds and
really
hundreds.
expensive fonts, yeah, and then some just funky ones that I've got off of dufont.com just because they're like cool, and then all the Adobe ones that I have active, right,
Hmm.
and then just kind of depending on the feel, um, different things will stand out. So as I just kind of like go through here, it's like that font that's on the
Hmm.
bottom, right? Not the right font for you,
Yeah.
but if it was like doing some graphic design for like Liquid Death or something like
Yeah,
that.
exactly. Liquid death.
So again, like a lot of fonts just kind of stand out differently as you go through them.
Absolutely. It's the paradox of choice, which I use a lot because like it's too many choices. I can't figure it out. I don't know how you make any design choices when you have so many. It's like being in a candy store, a kid in a candy store, right?
Yeah,
I mean, there's just too many. I mean, some are obviously a no,
yeah,
but
for sure.
how do you narrow down? You just have to pick something because there's so many that are close.
Yeah, so in general, we'll definitely kind of narrow down, and then what I like to do, there's kind of like a dichotomy in logo design theory, right? Where like some designers will just do their best effort, and they will take one concept and full fledged present that to the client, right?
Hmm.
So the client is less involved in the process of creating their brand. they essentially do the brand brief with the agency or the designer. The designer will take that, and for however long their process is, 3-4 weeks, 2 months, whatever, right? They will just work on that until it's ready, and then they will do a presentation of that brand to the client, right? But my process, and maybe this is wrong, I don't know, we end up wasting time doing it this way, but like I like to kind of, we do this probably the same process, but we just bring the client into the process a little bit more than just at the very end, right? So we'll get to a point where we have maybe 2 or 3 concepts that are a little bit more fleshed out. Maybe we'll take them from the sketch stage and like make good looking sketches and present those to the client or whatever. I'm still talking, so Haley can keep working.
We're in the middle of conversation.
Yeah. But like I like to bring the client in on that a little bit more to help them kind of guide and direct and influence what that final design looks like. And that can be a double-edged sword, because a lot of times, clients aren't design savvy. They don't know the methodology of what makes something work versus not, right? And I've had a few that are like, well, can you add this and that and take this from that one and this from that one?
Busy mess.
And then at the end, the client is super stoked about it. But then like
from a design point,
it's like not perfect from a design perspective. But again, like who's judging the logo, right? Do you want your logo to be judged by a bunch of designers? Like I would argue that doesn't really matter.
I was thinking that when we were talking about the monoset font, I'm like, well, the average person doesn't even know what the font is, right?
Exactly. Right. So a designer
Who's
might
your
look at
audience?
That and say, they're using Montserrat, lame, or whatever, right? But
or Comic Sans.
Exactly. Right. Like if that font embodies what the brand is and it communicates the right feelings, then it doesn't really matter what the design community thinks about it, So.
Exactly. And if you're making money and helping people and clients coming to you, does it really matter? I mean, I've seen a lot of websites without even they'll just write their name out and type, which I don't, from a branding standpoint, I don't like, but hey, you got to start somewhere.
Yeah, it's interesting, like, the kind of trends and logos, like in the 90s, it was like super complex and 3D and, beveled edges and makes everything look like it's, and swoopy and slashes all over everything. And like in 2020, probably, I don't know, 2015 and beyond, I wasn't like super into it, 2015 area, but somewhere kind of in the 2010s to now, like everything's gone really flat, really simplistic, trying to like get to the core of what a logo is. And in a lot of the rebrands, that we've worked on or that, that I've seen, they're taking these complex logos and they're boiling them down into the simplest form that they can be. And like, that's kind of I don't want to call it a trend, because it's more than a trend, right? It's like this shift in the design community as a whole.
And I think digital, because everything's digital. It's got to communicate differently in digital too, right?
Yeah, and you're going to see a logo huge, and you're going to see it tiny, and you're going to see it super, super tiny.
So it's got to support
on a website, right? So there's a lot. But yeah, so I would say, like, for anybody watching that's kind of like, I need to pick a font for my brand, I would say this myfonts.com is probably the best place to start, because it really does like have all of the professional fonts. And then you can kind of do the same thing over on Adobe as well. So Adobe has, if you just Google Adobe fonts or whatever.
All right. That's good to know. I'm always
essentially like the same thing, right? And if you come to a designer and you're like, hey, I've picked out these fonts, they can either start there or they can, come up with different ones. But these are great tools to kind of start searching.
So
the cool thing is they both do this thing where I was talking about, where you can just, choose your sample text.
That is, you got to see it. So I love that.
Thing I hate is like, I wish Illustrator did this as well.
I know. I am shocked they don't. With all the
if anybody knows like a tool to make Illustrator work like that, I'm all ears. But
that would make your life so much easier.
Yeah, so this is a good place to start, right? Because then you can, on both of these tools, you can kind of filter by weight and style and all sorts of stuff. So, say we're doing a luxury brand, or we want it to feel more luxury. I don't know how Courage is a luxury. It doesn't seem terribly luxurious to me, but somebody at Adobe thought it was, but like, this is a great place to start of like, what types of fonts like communicate. This one right here, Dodoni, is obviously like very different than what you currently have.
Oh, definitely.
Might be a good feel, right? It's approachable, it's round, it's flowy, it's got thicks and thins, it's kind of a unique looking font. So
Okay.
again, just kind of like going through these with an open mind for your brand
Okay.
can often be like pretty helpful. Of like, oh, I just like found something that really works that was totally not on my radar before, because
Well, because yeah, there's no way to know. And but yeah, so I think you just pick something because you're never gonna. It's almost like you have to pick something because there's endless choices, right? I mean, you
yeah,
would sit there for years. You just got
yeah.
to.
And when we're doing like paid brand packages, certainly like we spend quite a bit of time like working on the type, and then oftentimes we'll find a type that's like just right, but we want to tweak it a little bit or add something to it or take something away. So we'll actually go in and kind of customize that type for the logo mark, and then they can use
Mhm.
anywhere else and still have them be connected, but the logo mark still is a little bit different, right, than the main type. So
Yeah, well, that's this is fascinating. This is interesting. I don't know if you've done this font education on the other 30 Days of Stoke, have you?
I haven't now. So
Yeah, something new we can get out there. So I
yeah.
was fascinated by it because I think fonts are so cool and
Mhm.
they've come a long way.
Like
And
this
they,
one, Lust, kind of looks neat.
yeah.
Again, like it's a way different style, right, but still pretty fun and cool, and like, oh, like
Hmm.
that stands out as different, right? So I
Yeah,
mean,
and that's
anything
another
brand
thing. You don't want to
strategy,
blend in either,
you
you
want to
know.
stand out, right? And with
Yeah.
Montserrat being like the classic
Yeah. I
font that
didn't
people go to
realize
these days, like
it's
it's
a
very
it's
easy to like not
totally.
stand
I
out.
think it's time for my font to change because I didn't realize how much I was blending in by picking that one. Yeah, I didn't realize that. So that's good. I learned something new today. So
There you go.
this is
So we
so
definitely didn't
fascinating.
like land on anything that we wanted to pick, but Haley
Yeah,
was making
no.
progress over there while we were
Yeah.
chatting.
Look at her
So
go. Yeah.
yeah, kind of the last segment. So what we'll do here, since I didn't really make any progress, is we'll go like this. Oh, it makes all three of us. Whatever. Um, and I know if I minimize myself, our audio will go away. So I guess I'll just have to stay here. Maybe if we go like that, we'll go like this. There we go.
Okay.
Haley's got the big screen.
Okay. So
So this
that
is
top left, top right is your design, right, Rex?
yeah. I
Yes, it's
mean,
kind of
Okay.
janky looking, but
kind of janky looking.
it's
Did you
hard
start
to.
with like a real font on that one and
No,
then just
I
try
didn't.
to
I
you
just
just
drew
kind
it
of
out.
custom
Yeah,
drew it? Okay.
Okay.
I figured I didn't have enough time to go through the whole font.
Yeah.
And then the top left is Haley's, right?
Mm-hmm.
Those are the first two I picked. Okay.
Yep, and then the bottom two were just extra.
Man,
Okay.
I mean, out of those two, I guess I'll let Michelle talk first. I don't want to influence you by what I think, but
Of
curious.
which one you like best? Of the top two, you mean?
Yeah.
Oh, it's hard because I know that the top left, the top right one is still in flux with it's more hand drawn.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that was a cool design. I honestly, I'd have to see them done because I'm really. Can I tell you that I'm equally split right now on those? I'm
It's
not
tricky.
just saying that to be nice either. Like they're both so cool and different, So, what were you going to say, Rex? So, I'd love to know your
Yeah, I was
opinion
gonna
on.
say of those two, probably just because the top right one is less like perfected and finished. Like
Yeah,
I
definitely
think that
needs some
the
help.
top left one is really cool looking,
Mhm.
especially like with what we kind of just talked about for 15 minutes
The
was
upper
like,
lower, yeah.
the upper lowercase. I don't know that just off the top of my head, like I can envision. I mean, I guess I could sketch it real quick, but like maybe there's a lowercase embodiment of my concept, the top right one, that would also
Mm.
work because I do like how that connects them in like a less
Mm-hmm.
obvious way. Not that I think yours is obvious either, because I really like yours, Haley. What I think is cool about top left is like it almost gives me a feel of that like smiley face emoji a little bit
Oh
without
yeah, I didn't think about.
being
Can we
there.
see what that?
Like eyeballs.
What
In
if
it.
you put the font in black right now? So see how it pops. I want to see how that looks.
Like I could see some animations of that one being kind of fun, where it kind of like
Mhm.
bounces in and squishes, and it's got some eyeballs, and then the eyeballs
Oh,
disappear.
that is kind of neat how it connects like that. It does remind me of the smiley face. That was essentially, I tell you, when I went to pick a brain color, I'm like, oh, it's the yellow of the smiley, and I used to have that smiley face in my name, but then when LinkedIn was cracking down or whatever, I took it out. So, um, yeah, that's kind of neat.
Yeah, so I mean, I think like in the logo you leave that out, but right in an
Yeah.
animation you could have like M.G, and then the dots could like bounce around, do a little dance, be the eyeballs, and then
Yeah, that
like
would be
the
kind of
ear or
cool,
something.
like for an intro in a video or whatever, or in however you animate, wherever you animate. So,
Yeah,
yeah, and I think when yours gets fleshed out, like I really liked your sketch, Rex, on yours. I would love to see a lowercase on that one too, because
yeah,
that one's a cool version too. But oh, I like the border too.
yeah. I think
That's cool.
that to me looks pretty strong. Like I like that a lot, actually.
Yeah, it's kind of like has a lot of play. Like you can look at it in different ways. It's bold, modern, very classic,
Hmm.
simple, and strong. Yeah, I like that one. I
Yeah,
really
like
do.
Haley wins again.
Yay!
Oh no! Are you guys keeping score?
I mean, like
Tentatively.
unofficially, yeah, but
Yeah.
it's not very hard because I've only won
No,
one.
but hey, I don't know. I mean, I love it, but I think yours. I mean, like yours is strong too on the
Yeah, it
thing.
had potential. I just didn't have enough time to make it look
Yeah,
good.
just
You
it
just
just
did a
didn't.
bad job
Well,
drawing
it
my
wasn't
concept.
And I say we have co-winners. I'm not one of those parents like everyone gets a trophy, but I liked them both. But yeah, hers is just finished more. But strong work for sure,
Yeah.
for sure.
It only makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah, I love
Yeah,
it.
so I
You
mean,
guys
like
rock.
these streams are funny because a lot of times it's like I'm very much like a perfectionist, like from my engineering background, right? Like everything has to be perfect, right? And
Yeah.
like that bleeds into every aspect of my life where like it's so hard for me to like leave things unfinished, but like
Me
for the
too.
sake of 30 days of Stoke, it's like, no, we're done. See you
No,
later.
no. Wait, look, you have to have a disclaimer. This is not our work. This is a
Yeah.
30-minute fun show, and you were educating us all today on fonts. Like, it's
Yeah,
really
you were busy today.
fascinating. People
Yeah.
need that education. Like, no one knows, and that was really behind the scenes font education. So, what is it? My font or fonts.com plural.
Myfonts.com,
Plural. Okay, I'm gonna
and
check
then
that out. So that yeah.
fonts.adobe.com. So
Yeah,
both
this
of
is really
those
cool, and I'm so bummed because I just checked and I didn't click the restream, so this is not streaming on my profile. It's such a bummer, but,
I can send you. So if you want, I can send you. I can like download the recording, and I can email
yeah, I love it. This has been so much fun. I hope everyone can take advantage of 30 Days of Stoke because you guys are so awesome at what you do, so friendly and fun. That's your brand vibe too, and just do great work in 30 minutes. And I know this isn't a representation of your finished product, so we disclaim that, but it's amazing. I can't
I
imagine
mean,
what
not that like that top left logo definitely like. I mean, it might need like a little bit of tweaking of like spacing and
yeah,
stuff.
but
But
that's
like
it's incredible in 30
for that
minutes
fast, it's
or
pretty cool looking.
less.
So
Yeah, very cool. And I'd
yeah,
love to see yours too, because that's super strong too. I mean, that's a really cool sketch.
yeah, yeah.
So
I
you
think
guys
so.
rock. Yeah.
Yeah, well, we appreciate you being on with us, Michelle. We'll go ahead and shut down the stream. It'll keep you online so we can chat after. But we'll go
Okay.
ahead,
Thank you.
shut
Thank you
this
both
guy
so
down,
much.
and yeah,
We had
appreciate it.
fun.